So our mission is to enable, educate, and empower, and by inspiring and motivating and participating collaboratively with many preeminent hospitals, blind schools, and other organizations in India.
When we look back on 20 years, it's really hard to believe how far we've come along. We started in one location in 2 rooms in my father's house in Vizag. And it's come a long way since then. And this would not be possible without the large community which we have here, which includes donors who generously support the various centers and programs of VisionAid, our volunteers who work tirelessly and selflessly, including people in our leadership team, our volunteer president, our chairman, vice chair, so many others who work tirelessly as if it's a full-time job, and people in India as well. I mean, you mentioned the visually impaired, and their resilience. At the end of the day, they are the real heroes in the story. We are just the enablers and the catalysts. So somehow over this 20 years, it's been like watching 2 pairs of hands become, thousands of pairs of helping hands, both in terms of giving the money as well as in giving the support for the programs.
VisionAid has created awareness in the New England community in many different ways. We hold, small youth are, reaching out and, doing little fundraisers. We do 2 events a year right now. But our biggest signature annual event in summer, in July, in the month of July, is we have participation of almost 60 plus dancers, and the New England dance community, different dance schools all come together to support and empower the visually impaired by practicing for over 9 months. This is really truly a labor of love. The idea came from Jayanti Ghatraju, Anu Chitrapu, and Ranjini Sehgal, and they kind of helped VisionAid on in starting these fundraisers, which are engage the entire dance community, has made VisionAid a household name.
Welcome to Indian England News. Our guest today is Lalit Sudan. He is volunteer president of VisionAid. Lalit, welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much.
And we are looking forward to honoring VisionAid as a non-profit organization of the year at New England Choice Awards Gala on November 15th. And we are truly honored to have your organization as honored this year, because the way the organization is run, the transparency in fundraising and use of funds. So let us start there. My question to you is, how do you manage the transparency of fundraising and how the money is spent?
Yeah, it's a good question, Upendra, but let me first thank you very much for inviting us and giving us the opportunity. And also thank you for recognizing VisionAid as the...
it's our honor, actually. Sure.
Okay, no, it is our honor too,
sure.
And our privilege. Well, first of all, when we do our fund distribution, we do it to very, very reputable hospitals in India. They are the most famous hospitals in India, like Shankara Nethralaya, LV Prasad. And then we hold quarterly reviews with them to make sure that the funds that we have given them have been used for the right causes and for helping the right visually impaired people. Then, on the other hand, we have people here who are well-known people who are contributing to our charity, and every donor gets a view of how the money is being spent on their behalf. So that's how we ensure the integrity of fundraising, as well as making sure those funds are being used for the purposes they were given.
Some of our viewers who may not be familiar with VisionAid work, can you talk a little bit about the mission of VisionAid? And I think this year also VisionAid celebrated 20 years.
Right.
So let's listen to you about the VisionAid.
Well, the mission of VisionAid is threefold. One is to enable, second is to educate, and third is to empower the visually impaired people. And this we do by motivating and inspiring a lot of corporations in India, like the hospitals, the blind schools. So we try to make sure that all this work is being leveraged, that we are not doing it by ourselves, that we are making sure that they're enabled by you. When I mean by enabled, it means then giving them artificial visually intelligent glasses, smart vision glasses, where the blind people can read, or giving them digital magnifiers. So, and also training them. So those are kind of things we do enablement. When we say we do educate them, our mission to educate them, it means that we're teaching them skills which are useful for them, either for their own purposes or for them to get in the job market. And when we say we empower them, it means that we work with all the organizations to make sure that we have a level playing field for them, and we fight on their behalf, and also make them aware of what are the possibilities for them. And we do that collaboratively, and we leverage all the skills of our hospital partners. So we do not try to reinvent the wheel.
So you did mention Sankara Hospital in India, which is one of the very well known for the vision and eye. What are the other hospitals or locations you Vision Aid collaborate?
Well, we are the most famous hospital, like Arvind Charitable Hospital is a very famous hospital. Almost everybody knows that. Then we have Shroff Hospital, which covers the northern India, based in Delhi. And then we have CECF in Pune. And then we have new hospital partners now in Bangalore. So we have about 16 locations and many different hospitals in India, yes.
Can you also talk about the impact of Vision Aid, which during the last 20 years, some of the highlights of major accomplishment and achievements of Vision Aid?
Yeah, one of the things that people have to understand, people do not understand what rehabilitation means. When people think about visually impaired people and blindness, their view is that, it is doing cataract surgeries or things of that nature. But one of the most important things that people really have to understand and appreciate is that when nothing can be done, that they are basically, doctors say to them, we cannot do anything for you, that we give them the opportunity and rehabilitate them by giving them education, giving them training how to do it. So rehabilitation is one of the most important things we do. And most of the things we do is not a cookie cutter, because as you know, everybody is individual. They have individual needs, individual aptitudes, and individual things that we have to do for them. So last year we helped about 20,000 individuals by giving them individualized, tailored needs. And this year we plan to do more than 30,000. And our aim is that we'll do maybe 100,000 in the next 3 years. So we are expanding our coverage through our partners, blind schools, hospitals. And the way we're expanding is by increasing our relationships with the preeminent institutions in India. Yes.
Now, whatever at least I have, in the past spoken with some of the donors to Vision Aid, and they have been very much impressed by the work done by Vision Aid in India. And most of them somehow had one story to tell, that either somebody in the family or friend had issue with the vision, and that's how they got excited to support Vision Aid. My question to you is, how did you get involved with Vision Aid, and what really motivated you to join Vision Aid?
Well, it's a very interesting question. First of all, I was always, even when I was in India, I always had a soft heart for the visually impaired people. Then when I got introduced to Vision Aid, Puranji and Veena Handa, they introduced me to Vision Aid. I felt that they were very dedicated people. We're all volunteers here, but I found the level of volunteerism in Vision Aid was extraordinary. Ram and Revati have been working on this thing.
They are the co-founders.
They're co-founders, yes. They've been working for 14 years, and it's a long time to devote. And then when I saw the performances of the dancers, 50 dancers working for 4 months to put on the shows, it was an extraordinary level of experience working with Vision Aid, I said, this is a little bit different group. The people are so enthusiastic and dedicated to the cause. And so it motivated me to join them. And then I felt that with my background of running corporations, that I could be of help.
So which year did you join Vision Aid?
Well, it's been about 6 years. I first came in as a donor, and then I became board of advisors, and then they finally asked me, "We would like you to be our volunteer president," and I said, "Okay."
Now let's talk a little bit about the volunteer president.
Yes.
You know, generally when you assume that president of the organization, and I know that every time I have spoken with you, have always added the word volunteer there. And it's very unique, at least for the Vision Aid, that, you know, you are a volunteer president, but you work 24/7 without pay. If you explain about your role.
Well, first of all, we are 36 volunteers in US, and we have a different organization in India. I'll talk later. But when I looked at doing service to the Vision Aid, I felt it was not
you
a part
call it running.
Yeah, no, not running. I think I'm doing a service for the community. And I felt that I cannot do justice to my donors or to the visually impaired people by doing part-time. It has to be a dedicated function. So I'm working full-time as a volunteer president. I'm available anytime Vision Aid needs me. And if you can just imagine, between 16 different hospital locations, 20 blind schools, training 3,000 to 4,000 students a year, doing charity, fundraising, and then making sure that the funds are used properly. Yesterday we had a quarterly review at 7 a.m. With India. And we have several of them with our own organizations as well as the hospitals and other places. It takes time. You cannot do it part-time and then be expected to manage it properly. So that's what my volunteer definition of a volunteer is.
Yes. Excellent, yes. Now, before your career or before helping or serving Vision Aid, tell us about your professional career.
Well, first of all, I was all my life in networking and information technology, essentially computers industry. And the past, 30 years ago, I started a consulting group, market research and a consulting group called Market Data Group. And most of our clients are Fortune 100 companies. Some of them were like Compaq, HP, big names, Fujitsu Consulting, and there were some smaller companies as well. And our role was to do two things. One was to find, our focus was in the emerging markets, making sure that they're entering the emerging markets the right way. So I became part of many companies' senior management teams. I was representing Market Data Group. And we did research into the emerging technologies, trends, what is the buying behavior, what people are going to buy, and then we gave them hands-on solutions of how to do it right. So those kind of things I did for about 25, 27 years until I started volunteering full-time for Vision Aid. And at that time I said, okay, we have done enough. Let me just go and work in Vision Aid. But before that, I was with many large corporations like a Digital Equipment Corporation, also with Motorola Codex, which was the pioneer in networking. So Codex was the Cisco of the 1970s. In 1970s, if you ask people who was the networking pioneer, they will say Codex. Like people say today, they say Cisco. So we were in 70s and 80s, we were the pioneer networking. And then I joined Digital as part of the networking group and managed several programs for them.
And what brought you to US? When was that? Just I'm curious to...
Well, I came in US in 1971, right out of college in India, to do my master's in engineering.
And where did you come? Which university?
I came to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, yes.
When did you move to Boston?
End of 72.
And I think then you have been a Boston.
I've been in not only Boston, but in Framingham for past almost 51, 52 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah. We came to Framingham and I'm there for all these years, yes.
Okay. Now, coming back to Vision Aid, As I said earlier, that you celebrated 20 years. So, how do you look at for the next 20 years for the Vision 8? What are some of the goals of the organization?
Well, first of all, I look at in terms of 3 years. Okay, obviously I have to look at next 12 months.
Sure.
But we set a plan for every 3 years. Like we just finished, as my presidency, I just finished a plan for 3 years, which ended in July. And we are going to do next 3-year plan. Obviously keeping in mind our ultimate goal, which is a much longer term goal. So we plan and execute measurable plans in terms of 1 year, 2 year, and 3 years. That's how we do it. In 20 years, one of the biggest problems that, Upendra, we have is creating the awareness. Okay, so on one side, we have to make people aware of the need of what we do, rehabilitate the visually impaired and the blind people. On the other side, we have to provide tools which are appropriate. So our ultimate view is that we will increase the awareness everywhere, whether it is even with the doctors community, medical professional community. For them, this is sometimes new. They say, what exactly is this? Because they're so used to doing only operations. So that's one part. Second part is among the community, okay, among the government, among all people, that, hey, this is the kind of things which is needed to make sure that the visually impaired people become full members of the society and do productive work. And we have to help them and level the playing field and give them opportunities. So
and most of the work of Vision 8 is focused on India.
It's all is in India, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Lalit, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Upendra.
And then looking forward to seeing you on November 15th at the Awards Gala.
Absolutely. We are so thrilled and proud to be the recipient of the award by your Upendra and Manju, the INA organizations, the NEC Award. And we are very proud.
Excellent. Thank you so much.